Well, welcome to the Willie Lawson Show. Take home, the Spreaker Take Home edition as we head in. I think, I see we updated our Spreaker, and I see that there are a bunch of people now who've listened. We've even got some downloads, which is kind of cool to have downloads. People have decided that they want to listen offline. They want to share it with their friends, so that's cool. I appreciate that. We have a number of listens, so I'm excited about that. Anything to get the attention of the iHeartRadio folks. I know what you can do when you share the show, and a lot of you do, and I appreciate that. You can put in at iHeartRadio in the tweet. I want them to. The application is pending. But I want them to notice that we are a force to be reckoned with. We're not only going to be good for our cause, but we're going to be good for iHeartRadio. We're going to, iHeartRadio is doing well, but we're going to show them something. Show them a little something. iHeartRadio is owned by the folks at Clear Channel, and so I want all the folks all the way up the chain at Clear Channel to notice you, because this show is you driven. It's you driven. It's the things that I know you think about, and I know the questions that you want answered, and it's you. I just say what you've been thinking all along. That's it. That's been the magic of the Willie Lawson Show here on Spreaker, here on the Spreaker edition here, and we just do what you want to. I mean, we talk about the things that I know that are on your mind, like tonight. Last night, if you were with us, we did some election coverage. We covered the final few minutes of the governor's race in California. We covered we saw that Terry McAuliffe, in a narrow victory, beat out Ken Cuccinelli for the governorship of Virginia. In a very close race, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. And Robert Silva, I believe, was the Libertarian candidate, and what role that played when he got about 6.7% of the vote, which made a difference in a very hotly contested race. When you have a third party, it makes a difference, and it usually, frankly, works against the more conservative candidate. It works against the more conservative candidate every single time. So we have to be on our guard for that. We talked about that a little bit last night. We talked about that we would talk about tonight moving forward in a strategic way, because I think that what's really missing, I believe what's really missing is the importance of strategy. We talked about on the Willie Lawson Show last week the Rules for Radical book, and we talked about the tactics chapter, and how to recognize them, and how even to use them if need be. So we really need to talk about how do we move forward strategically. Now, here's what a lot of people are going to be saying from the end of the week and through the Sunday shows. Here's what you're going to hear. For those of you who bother to listen to the Sunday shows, as if somehow listening to those Sunday shows and listening to the people at MSNBC and listening to CNN and the talking heads on television, like somehow that's going to, I don't know, keep you informed. I don't know if it's going to encourage. I'm not sure what it does for you, except upset you and make you sad. So I don't know why anybody does that on purpose. But I'm the same guy who doesn't understand why people ride roller coasters, because it's scary. I'm not sure why you want to be scared, and I'm not sure why you want to be sad and discouraged. I'm not sure why you want that. But here's what they're going to say, and you can listen to me. And now you don't have to listen. You don't have to watch them on Sunday or listen to them for the rest of the week, or read them on HuffPo and all that kind of stuff. Here's what they're going to say: that the race in Virginia, coupled with the win of Chris Christie in New Jersey, says that the American people are rejecting the Tea Party movement. This is what they'll say. Now, the facts of the matter are this. Chris Christie, moderate Republican, in a state where he is wildly popular because of his personality. He's wildly popular because of the way he handled and yelled at, in a really New Jersey way, Congress and being slow to getting aid for Superstorm Sandy. Very, very popular governor. Sort of how governors are or have been historically in the state of Florida. We love our governors. And New Jersey right now loves Chris Christie. Now, here's the deal. Chris Christie didn't have what I would consider a strong opponent on the Democrat side. The Democrat side decided that they would do other things. They have been investing their time and their effort and their energy in Cory Booker, seeing that the deal was made that Cory Booker would not run for governor. Now, if Cory Booker runs for governor of New Jersey, I guarantee you that race is very different. That race is very different. If Cory Booker is the Democrat candidate for governor of New Jersey, that race is very different, extremely different. Chris Christie, being the politician he is, knows that going to Virginia to help Ken Cuccinelli, even though he's a fellow Republican, damages his brand in New Jersey and just doesn't do it, because all Chris Christie gives a crap about is Chris Christie. I mean, do we fault a guy for that? Do we fault a guy for that? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think you can. I think the idea is that there's a deal. Now, when we talk about Virginia, we can talk about Virginia in a little bit, and and where the RNC was, and why this loss from Ken Cuccinelli says more about the RNC than it does the Democrats or Chris Christie. So let's just say, let's concentrate on the Chris Christie race for just a few more seconds. So it seemed like as soon as Cory Booker wasn't running for governor in New Jersey, that was a done deal. There was no other strong candidate in New Jersey to run for governor. Once Cory Booker is now going to be a U.S. Senator. And frankly, why would Cory Booker want to be governor of New Jersey when he can be a U.S. Senator? That deal might as well have been cut in public on CNN. They might as well have sat down and cut that deal in public on CNN, or maybe they could have been on an episode of of New Jersey Housewives or something, because that deal was cut and everybody knew that deal was cut. So it's not any great statement of the state of New Jersey or of America on a larger scale that would elect a fairly moderate, and especially in New Jersey, Chris Christie. That doesn't say anything to anybody. It just doesn't. And of course, the liberals and Democrats are desperately wanting to use this as some sort of statement. There's no statement to be made. Chris Christie's win in New Jersey was a foregone conclusion. They would be singing a much different tune if Cory Booker had decided to run. It would be a much, much different tune. All right, New Jersey explained. So when they start saying, "Oh, New Jersey is a prime example of the need, the want for bipartisanship," blah 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 blah. Now that's the key word. Here's what you're going to hear about Virginia. In Terry McAuliffe's speech, he mentioned that now we could have a return back to the bipartisan tradition of Virginia. Now, Terry McAuliffe was the chair of the DNC. There is not a more partisan position to be in than the chair of one of the parties. You're the chair. You're the person who doesn't have to play get along to get along. You're the person who is about party purity. I'm doing a lot of P's here. You're that person. Terry McAuliffe was head of was chair of the Democratic National Convention. Are you kidding me? He was a major fundraiser for major Democrats. Who did he get to come in and help him? He got Hillary Clinton, another person who is known for her reach across the aisle-ness, her reach across the aisle ability. No. The fact of the matter is that these are some of those partisan sons of bitches ever, and I said it that way. However, they want to paint this as people wanting to get back to some desperately reach across the aisle, partisan, nonpartisan, or bipartisan, or tripartisan, or nonsense that frankly doesn't exist, and it truly doesn't exist on the liberal side of the aisle. It just doesn't. Bipartisan to the Democrat is just go along with us. If you don't go along with us, you're being partisan. If you don't go along with me, you're being partisan. That's their view and their picture of bipartisan. It's the person who says, if you don't pay when we go to dinner, if you don't pay every single time, you're a cheapskate. That's what that is. That's who the Democrats are. The Democrats are that person who says when you go to dinner, if you don't pay all the time, then you're a cheapskate. And when you say one time, hey, you going to pick up the tab this time? They've got a whole bunch of names for you. And then you know what they decide? Well, I don't want to go to dinner with you anyway. That's who the Democrats are. And that's who Terry McAuliffe is. And that's who Hillary Clinton is. And who was there at the victory speech last night? Barack Obama. Some of the most partisan people who've ever lived. They are keeping up this myth, and they're going to do this through the rest of the week and on the Sunday shows, this myth of this is America's cry for bipartisanship, the end of partisanship. It's something of the sort. Let's look at the numbers. Terry McAuliffe beats Ken Cuccinelli by less than 2 points. That's division. That shows that there is high partisanship. That America is not ready at all, by any stretch of their imagination, to release their partisanship. Not at all. America is divided. What that race shows, that America is still divided. If it shows anything at all, that there is a large number, and I'm going to say this, and all the libertarians are going to throw their hands in the air and turn the computer off and unfriend me and unfollow the Spreaker show, fine, go ahead and do that now. I got an idea. Why don't you just go ahead and do that now? And that way, I'll save you some time. So go ahead and go ahead, unfriend me on Facebook, unfollow me on Twitter, unfollow me here at Spreaker. Say bad things about me. Go ahead and say them, because I'm gonna say what I believe is the truth about a lot of people who voted for this libertarian candidate in Virginia. You're fools. Half of you are foolish because you didn't do your work. You didn't do your research. You made the very same mistake a lot of people who are Democrats and Republicans make. You didn't do your work. You didn't do your research, and you found out this guy. And I don't know any libertarians, and I know some real, live, dyed-in-the-wool libertarians who are for open borders. How can you be for open borders and be fiscally conservative? It doesn't match. It's stupid. It's asinine. It's crazy. This guy's a plant. This guy was set up for Operation Chaos to confuse a lot of the so-called libertarians and I say so-called libertarians because the people who say they're libertarians who voted for this libertarian candidate in this Virginia election, you're not a libertarian. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. You're a moron. It's some of the kids who say, "Oh, libertarian man, he's for pot." Let's vote for him, man. Let's vote for the pothead guy. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Seriously? That's why this guy gets 6.5% of the vote or so and makes this race really, really close. That's what you saw in Virginia. And that's what the real deal is. It isn't America crying out for bipartisanship. That's not what you saw last night. You saw a very clear what can happen when the definition between two candidates especially are very, very clear. Now, I don't believe I'm that sports guy I don't believe in moral victories. I don't think there's any such thing as a moral victory. You win or lose. Scoreboard. You know, if you were supposed to lose by 50 and you only lose by 15, you still lost, right? You still lost. So I'm not about moral victories and all that kind of nonsense. But here's what Ken Cuccinelli was up against. He was up against Terry McAuliffe. Terry McAuliffe, again, former DNC chair and major fundraiser. Was able to get all the star power out that he possibly could. Ken Cuccinelli was a, quote, Tea Party, end quote, candidate. Now, all of us understand the condition, especially from an economic standpoint, of the Tea Party movement currently. When was the last big Tea Party rally? This year? Last year? No, not at all. So did Cuccinelli have the same sort of resources? No. And I was going to mention that did you see the big money come in, the big guns come in from the RNC? No, you didn't. You most certainly did not. How much help did he get? Not much, really. Not much. Not much help at all. None, really. And still, almost held off. Terry McAuliffe. And the big guns that came hunting for bear. And still. Impressive. A loss is a loss. You know, there's nothing exciting about losing. Losing sucks. But he was still able to fight a heck of a battle. Which tells me that it tells me this. It isn't that the Tea Party movement is dead and dying. It tells me just the opposite, actually. Under those conditions, it seems that the Tea Party movement is very much alive. Very much alive. That's what it tells me. And it gives me reason to be encouraged, because it seems like the Tea Party movement is very much alive, very much powerful, very much ready to move on. Except now we have to think about what to watch for. What did the left have to do to defeat Ken Cuccinelli? With the help of the Republican Party. What did they have to do? They had to get the biggest guns they had on that race. They had to get the biggest guns they had to win that race. And they barely did it. They had to get Terry McAuliffe and Hillary Clinton in there. They had to get this third-party candidate who was backed by big Democrat money and support him in any number of counties throughout Virginia. In order to beat Ken Cuccinelli, the quote, Tea Party candidate, by less than 2 points. I don't like losing. And I'm sure that this does not make Ken Cuccinelli feel one iota better today. But there's some truth here, and there's something that we need to look at. Again, my advice to you is don't watch the Sunday shows. Don't give them the benefit of the doubt. Don't give them the ratings. Just don't. They are what they want to do is discourage you. They want you to be discouraged and sad, and they're going to tell you that you're done. They're going to tell you that we're finished. They're going to tell you that America has turned a corner, turned a page. The Tea Party movement is over. The Republican and conservative movement is over. It is time. I saw an article today. It is time for the pragmatist. It's time for all that stuff that all that's going to do is send our country further down the tubes. That's what they're going to tell you. They're going to tell you that if you stand on your convictions, that if you stand for the Constitution, if you stand on self-reliance, if you stand for free markets, if you stand for those things, if you stand for God, if you stand for your freedom of speech and your freedom of your faith, if you stand for those things, you are out of touch. That's what they're going to tell you. If you stand for absolute truth, you're out of touch. That's what they're going to tell you is for the rest of this week and on the Sunday shows. That day in America has ended. But and they're going to use these elections as evidence of that, when it's not evidence of that at all. What it's evidence of, especially in Virginia, what it's evidence of is that we are very much alive. We are very much alive. But we have to organize. We have to lock arms with people that we may not agree with 100%. We have to lock arms with people that our tactics may not be the same. We have to lock arms. And we have to move forward together. That we must not allow. It is important to the preservation of the republic that we must not become divided or let ourselves be divided. Division, ladies and gentlemen, is death. So we can't do that. We can't. So as we move forward looking into 2014, I'm a classically trained musician. Your host went through the Florida State University Music School, and I'm a trained saxophonist. Yes, saxophonist. For everybody else, that's a saxophone player. I'm a saxophone player. Classically trained saxophonist. I am. And what I know is that division is death. We must not allow ourselves to be divided. All right, we got to get out of here. Thanks so much for coming to the Willie Lawson Show, the Spreaker Take-Home Edition. Again, if you like what we do, let everybody know. It's like anything else. If you like it, your friends will like it. And there may be some liberal Democrats you want to send the link to. Why? Just to piss them off. Why? And because that's fun. That's always nice seeing their blood pressure, raise up. And I'll tell you what, they hate black conservatives. We drive them nuts. So let's go ahead and share the show. Let's go ahead and let people know that we're out here. Let people know that that there are other voices, especially in the African American community, the black community, other than Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton, and those other ass clowns on MSNBC. Just there are voices of reason. There are voices of truth. There are voices that love and care about this country and its future. Let them know. Let them know. All right. Good night, everybody. Listen, my name is Willie Lawson. This is the Willie Lawson Show, Spreaker Take Home Edition. Until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, and I mean this from the bottom of my pumpkin little heart, take care of yourself. God bless now. Bye-bye.